name is Elizabeth Manns, and I'd like to welcome you to the April 4th Coalition Show. This is the July 28th edition, 2025 edition of the show, and our mission statement is, we are for workers' rights and collective bargaining rights, and are against tax breaks for the rich corporations who ship our jobs overseas. We support all the articles of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, but as is our custom, we put the emphasis on Article 23. Dick, will you start us off?
Yes. Number one, everyone has the right to work, to free choice of employment, to just and favorable conditions of work, and protection against unemployment.
Number two, everyone, without any discrimination, has the right to equal pay for equal work.
Number three, everyone who works has the right to just and favorable remuneration, which is any form of compensation, ensuring for herself or himself and her or his family an existence worthy of human dignity and supplemented if necessary by other means of social protections. Michael?
Number four,
Yes.
Number four,
everyone has the right to farm, form, and join trade unions for protection or her interests.
Okay, thank you, Michael. And we also want to thank the fabulous staff here at NBCTC for their invaluable assistance in producing the show. So thank you, Matthew Tucker, Nicole A. Brown, and Joanne Hurlbut, and to the program director for WNNB for airing the audio portions of our shows on Friday at 6 p.m. and probably sprinkling it throughout after that. So Dick, we are putting the focus again on Gaza today?
Yes. I hope Michael and Susan don't mind, but I thought that we would put a little bit of emphasis on this. This was a sign I made this week and held out in front of City Hall with other people who were protesting what the Trump administration has been doing, but feed and free Gaza, you know?
sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So that was a simple call. I've been calling my congressman for over 2 years, asking him to put some restraints on military aid to Israel, you know, because just we hold up this Universal Declaration of Human Rights. You know, everyone has certain human rights.
Correct.
You know, the Hamas, what they did was awful.
It was
but
horrible.
The people of the
Gaza.
children of Gaza
Had nothing to do with
over
it.
2 years, like I heard one report, like 26 children a day have been killed. That's one classroom a day over 2 years. And people are starving there. There was a Freedom Flotilla, a group of people just, they got a boat, they filled it with baby formula, teddy bears and things, and they were trying to sail from Italy to Gaza. And of course, the second attempt, they were also stopped by the Israeli government. There's a blockade. They don't let anything in. And they said, you know, you have no right to stop us. You know, so I called my congressman. I asked them. I talked to the staff members. I said, you know, the BBC. The last time I called them, it was Friday, and the BBC had come out and said a dozen children had starved to death. You know, what is he going to do? You know, at other times I said, if there are people starving in your district, what would you do? What would you want the rest of the world to do? So I thought, why don't we listen to a couple of congressmen that are actually speaking out on the issue. The first one is Congressman Al Green. He's from Texas, but he's charging Trump and Netanyahu with genocide in Gaza. Let's hear what he has to say.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to address the House for 5 minutes, revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection.
And still I rise, Mr. Speaker. And I rise today, Mr. Speaker, to speak truth to power, as well as speak truth about power. I rise to speak truth about what's happening to the Palestinians in Gaza. I rise to ask, what do you call it when you have a group of people who are being denied food denied the very essence and necessities of life, when you're destroying their homes, when you're destroying their schools, when you're destroying their churches, their infrastructure. What do you call it when you do this to them as a group? Collective punishment. It is called collective punishment, Mr. Speaker. And what do you call it when you have a group of people who are being pushed around, pushed from one end of Gaza to the other, when they are literally being slaughtered as they're seeking food? What do you call it when people say that they ought to be removed from their land? You call it ethnic cleansing, Mr. Speaker. And what do you call it when it appears to me that there is a deliberate, systemic effort to destroy in whole or in part the Palestinian people, to destroy them in whole or in part? We are witnessing before our very eyes, Mr. Speaker, genocide in Gaza, and we say nothing. I am amazed at how this country that stands for liberty and justice for all, this country that has a Statue of Liberty, how this country can see what's happening in Gaza and not call it what it is. There's a fear among us. We refuse to speak truth to power. We refuse to speak truth about power. Well, today, I'm going to do it. And I'm doing it because these are precious babies that are being slaughtered. You see the bodies. You see the homes. You see the infrastructure. But you say nothing? Who are we? What is wrong with us? What is going on? Well, here's what's going on. We have an authoritarian leader who is supporting another authoritarian leader. Our president, the Prime Minister of Israel, they are working together, and they are doing this. Our president said there would be hell to pay if they did not move or if they did not surrender. Not in those exact words, but that was his intentionality. And he's talking about the people of Gaza now. I'm not talking about Hamas that did a dastardly deed. What Hamas did can never be justified. They were wrong, but you can't justify what's happening in Israel right now. It is collective punishment. It is ethnic cleansing, and it is genocide. So, Mr. President, Donald John Trump, I say to you, Mr. President, you've been trying to hide from this. But, Mr. President, you can't hide. I charge you with genocide. Mr. Netanyahu, you are the perpetrator. I charge you with genocide. And also, I want this Congress to know that I voted against sending any additional monies to Israel for munitions. I voted against it. And this genocide is going to continue until we have the courage to say no more. No more money to kill babies. No more money to say you're going to move people and create some sort of Riviera on the Mediterranean. No more. I will not vote for any more money. I stand where I stand. I said what I said, and I mean what I mean. We cannot, as a great nation, continue to stand silent as we see collective punishment, ethnic cleansing, and genocide in Gaza committed against people and children. We can't stand silent. History will not be kind to us.
The gentleman's time has expired. Members are reminded to refrain from engaging in personalities towards the president. The chair recognizes the gentleman from.
That was kind of,
That was powerful, that was good. And I believe Trump was on today over in Scotland talking about it, and he and Israel have pulled out of the ceasefire talks. He doesn't.
yeah. He was saying that we sent money there and they haven't even said thank you yet.
Who, Gaza or
Yeah,
Israel?
yeah, he said Gaza. He's in another world. I don't know. He's not in the world.
He's not in the world that we live in, and his empathy factor is non-existent to
Yeah.
begin with. He doesn't feel the deaths of people, let alone children.
Right. He doesn't have any.
Reality.
Yeah. But, and this enables Netanyahu to continue doing what he does because he keeps.
Right. I think that the overwhelming majority in our congressional district want to stop what's happening in Gaza and start feeding
Oh, I
those
think,
children.
well, I think so.
Our congressman needs to show a little courage to stand up, stop taking money from AIPAC,
Right.
and just stand up and say what's best for the
And look
the
at it this
people of
way,
the world.
if the gentleman who I believe is from Texas could stand up
Yeah.
and do it, he knows he's
Congressman
toast,
Al Green, yeah.
and
yeah.
he knows he's probably torching his,
I doubt it. He's got a, he knows where he's got a good district. A lot of the districts are safe. That's where all his congressmen are from.
and so I presume you would like Richie O'Neill. Do you want Elizabeth Warren and Ed Markey to
Yeah,
start talking about
yeah.
it too?
Yeah, but I want to go back to the House of Representatives, though they have the power of the purse. There's one representative, Rasheen Tabliel, representative, and she's from Detroit. She is a Palestinian. She's our only Palestinian member of Congress of Palestinian descent. So let's listen to a portion of what she said on Democracy Now! A couple days ago.
We are also joined in Detroit by Congressmember Rashida Tlaib, the only Palestinian American member of Congress. She addressed members of the flotilla, the Handala, earlier this week. What are you calling on the Trump administration to do to ensure the safety of this ship? You previously called for the safe passage of the ship before that Israel raided the Madeleine, Congressmember.
Yeah, I mean, we use the power of the letterhead and getting a lot of my colleagues, so it's not just me alone, but other fellow Americans that don't share my faith or ethnicity or have a close connection to the movement for human rights for the Palestinians. But I can tell you, many of my colleagues are expressing in words to me about the starvation, the forced starvation of the people in Gaza, the Palestinians there, but they're lacking action. Their votes don't meet up with the words of it needs to stop. They have the leverage. They can sign letters, send their own letters. And so for all those listening to, Hawaida, who's from Michigan, from my home state, talking to Chris Smalls, Jacob, and so many, hearing their stories come out of why they're there. They are risking their lives and sacrificing so much to try to break the siege, to go there while they continue, as all of us continue to see the images of just children and so many others, even the parents, just dwindling, their organs shutting down. Mothers, just like me and Hawaida and so many others, expressing like, is it because my child is Palestinian? Is it because they're in Gaza? And it is really incredibly difficult. But the Trump administration knows more. A letter is coming, knowing that, again, all eyes on the flotilla. I'm asking everyone to keep your eyes on there. Pay attention, no matter what country, no matter what community you live in. The majority of folks globally have been standing up and saying enough is enough. And the genocide and the forced starvation, I've been awakened and understanding. Sometimes I wish my colleagues would maybe pretend that they weren't Palestinian and they would actually care and do something to end this madness of, again, allowing people that are just hungry to go to death traps that we, the American people, are paying for, to lure them in because they're so hungry. And they know from hearing from other stories that they could lose their life trying to get food. And again, stories after stories, not only from the doctor we listened to and Hawaii's previous experience of even trying to break the siege. This is not the first, nor will it be the last time that, again, the Israeli government violates international law. They consistently do it. They have for decades. And so we're going to continue, again, trying to elevate and make Congress move. And we can do that by having members, Americans from outside that institution, demand their member do what they're asking.
So I want to ask you about where you're from, your family from the West Bank. And I want to ask you about the killing of another U.S. citizen by Israeli forces. Israeli settlers in the occupied West Bank fatally beat 20-year-old Palestinian-American from Tampa, Florida, earlier this month, Saifollah Musalet, known as Saif by his family. He was visiting his village, Al-Masra al-Sharqiya, reportedly the 7th American killed in the West Bank, Gaza, Lebanon, since October 2023. A second Palestinian, Mohammed al-Shalabi, was shot dead during the settler attack. Musalet's cousin Diana read a statement from the family.
We are devastated that our beloved Saifollah Musalet, nicknamed Saif, was brutally beaten to death in our family's land by illegal Israeli settlers who were attempting to steal it. Israeli settlers surrounded Saif for over 3 hours as paramedics attempted to reach him, but the mob of settlers blocked the ambulance and paramedics from providing life-saving aid. After the mob of Israeli settlers cleared, hours later, Saif's younger brother rushed to carry him to the ambulance. Saif was killed and died before reaching the hospital.
And just this week, the Israeli Knesset, the parliament, voted 71-13 for a non-binding motion to annex the occupied West Bank. It calls the West Bank an inseparable part of the land of Israel. Can I get your response to what the U.S. government is doing about the killing of its citizen, Saif, and this latest news from the Knesset?
The American government is doing absolutely nothing, as per usual, around an American citizen that has been killed. Military and others watch this happen, watch extremists. And, again, these are Israelis, and people call them settlers. They're extremist Israelis. Nobody knows what these are folks coming into, with Israeli citizenship, coming in to take land. But it's, I don't like when people call it a clash. They came for the intention of forcibly, with force, with violence, killing people. To take, again, property or to harass, and sometimes it's just to intentionally harass and target the Palestinian people, because the goal here is, and the Knesset told us, is to ethnically cleanse anyone who is Palestinian that is, again, different faiths. But if you're Palestinian, if you're Christian, if you're Muslim, you, again, are going to be pushed out of this, of the land, being pushed out again, all under this, movement, again, to completely get rid of the Palestinian people from all corners of the country. And again, this is even Palestinian citizens of Israel are being targeted. I don't know if people realize there's integrated communities where now the Palestinian people there, again, that have Israeli citizenship are also being targeted. All this to say is, I don't care if it's in Jerusalem, in the integrated neighborhood or community, or in the West Bank, what happened to Saif, what happened to Muhammad, what happened, again, continues to happen to American people, is the experience of the Palestinian people there that are not American. It happens all the time. It is consistent. And one of the things that people need to know is that these are Israeli citizens, folks just walking around with the enabling and the support of the Israeli military and the genocidal maniac Netanyahu. They have set out the bastion, go for it, go ahead and ethnically cleanse. And then the Knesset just showed them with the vote. That's exactly what they want to do. And the American government and my colleagues, Democrat and Republican, sit by idly and say, that's terrible, or I don't like Netanyahu. Great, then stop sending him and the country our money. use it as leverage to uphold human rights, use it in a way, again, to uplift what we all believe in. No one should be forced to starve. No one should be pushed out of their land, again, illegally to violate international laws. All of those things to say is, you know, Amy, I watched in a committee people just distressed of an American being brutally killed in Syria and wanting to insist on sanctions, again, that hurt the people on the ground. But the fact that they were willing to do it there, but not when it comes to the Israeli government. There's always an exception when it comes to the Palestinian people. It is completely racialized. Again, I intentionally say in my speeches on the House floor, if you need to close your eyes and pretend they're not Palestinian, they're not brown, they're not Muslim, they're not Christian, all of these things. I wonder if my colleagues would act differently. I really do think they would. And again, you know, many of my colleagues try to send letters, but even their letters are, there's racist tropes in those letters. There's words in those letters that even erase, again, the brutality of what happened to Saif and so many others. And, you know, I've been there 7 years and it's getting worse, not better, even as we watch the genocide live on social media platforms, even as we hear from Americans in our own backyard talk about their loved ones being targeted and brutally murdered. And again, Saif and Mohammed has exposed to us what happens to the Palestinian people who are not Americans every single day that they live there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're getting good at the double standard.
Yeah.
Sad to say. We all are good at it. We don't like to look at ugliness sometimes.
No, I try to avoid newscasts that show starving children. I can't stand looking at it.
No, it reminds me when I was a child and they were doing the miniseries Holocaust. I couldn't stand to watch when they flipped to the black and white videos. And this is no different.
No.
You know, as a child, and
Never again means never again.
again, until people decide not to fight for it. Which is what's going on here, is that people are just choosing a blind eye because it's Israel.
Right. We stand up for all human rights, for
We
every
do.
human being.
Right.
And that's what we want to reestablish is standards.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wrote a letter to the editor, and I was thinking I might read it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Did you have something else that you wanted to bring
No,
up?
I'm all set. You said it.
Okay, well, this is, I wanted to, my title was Expanding the Conservative Movement. Dear editor, people are most conservative after a large meal. As a member of the conservative movement, we must call for the feeding of the hungry. As conservatives, we are against high concentrations of wealth and concentration camps in the world, especially in America. As conservatives, we are against genocide in Gaza and anywhere else in the world. As conservatives, we realize that poverty is the enemy, not immigrants. Conservatives realize not knowing what is enough is worse than a natural disaster. Gandhi said there's enough for all of our needs, but never enough for all of our greed. In order to expand the conservative movement of feeding the hungry and eliminating poverty from the face of the earth, we must expand democracy and reestablish international norms of human rights. We conservatives read the ancient texts that tell us that understanding and compassion are universal and unlimited. We conservatives must drink from the unlimited wells of compassion and understanding within our own hearts. We conservatives know that dictatorship is wrong, unjust, and radical. Conservatives believe all social organizations should expand democracy and democratic practices, including the workplace. Conservatives believe that profits should only be used for the creation of more jobs and to expand economic security for all. Conservatives believe greed is not good. Conservatives believe money is not equal to speech. Conservatives believe corporations are not people. Conservatives believe that wisdom, not artificial intelligence, is required. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights should be our guide to basic decency. Democracies must defend the rights of the minority. Conservatives believe that the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act should be renewed and expanded, not dismantled. The ancient texts also provide conservative guidance. Release those bound unjustly, set free the oppressed, share your bread with the hungry, shelter the oppressed and the homeless, clothe the naked, do not turn your back on your own, remove oppression, false accusation, and malicious speech. Bestow your bread on the hungry and satisfy the afflicted. Conservatives believe that the only negotiation with dictators is the time of their flight of departure from this nation.
Very good, Dick.
Took
Very,
me
very
a long time. I kept writing and
Rewriting.
rewriting and
Well, you-
rewriting and adding stuff. And finally I sent it in and then they sent me back, you got to put this under 400 words. So I had to cut,
You had to cut more of it
I
off?
had to cut a lot out in order to get it down to 400 words.
Well, you got it there.
They were nice enough to print it.
They were good enough to print it. And yes, the Eagle has a tendency to want to have it both ways.
Yeah.
But at least they are committed to the editorials
Yeah,
and
I
getting them
think
out
that-
there.
I think it's important. Newspapers are important.
Definitely.
They reprint articles, like I hear those articles are quoted in other podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
I heard this podcast that I listened to this morning, and they quoted an article that they reprinted from the New York Times about the guy saying, look, he was an ambassador in Hungary, and he saw the dictatorship become true in Hungary. And he said, we have the same problem here.
We
and
do.
the big thing is the big institutions have to stand up to the dictator. They can't capitulate. And they're doing that now.
They are,
They're
yes.
leaving it up to us, the individual, to stand up to them.
Right, yes, because I noticed in Columbia, just not.
Columbia, Harvard, law firms, they're standing up with Paramount. Paramount sold out. They canceled Colbert's TV show.
Just
They
because-
paid them. They're paying them money just because they edited a 60 Minutes thing. And the president,
The president is a public figure. He's open.
He's suing all these people. He's trying to take dictatorial control of the nation over. He's attacking all of our institutions.
Yep,
So we have to stand up where we can.
yep.
And if we don't stand up for those in Gaza, it's going to be us next.
It will be, it's coming.
Because Gaza is like one of the poorest areas in the world. And the United States and Israel are two of the richest nations in the world. They're nuclear powers. They're very big.
Right, and they're being bullied, and they're being bullies right now.
Yeah, they're bullying them. Yeah,
And history tells us you have to stand up to the bully, or the bully just keeps going.
right.
Coming at you.
Right. I mean, I just think of history, when I read about what happened during World War II in Germany with the Holocaust,
Right,
it's
no different.
Why didn't people stop them? And now we're in that same
Same
situation.
situation. And I honestly think people get paralyzed. They can't believe it's happening in their backyard.
Right. With their
essentially.
money.
With their money. They just don't
We're
believe it's happening.
paid for it. We're paying for it.
Yes, we are. And it's no different whether you use Palestinian or immigrants in this country. It's the same attitude.
Dehumanization.
Dehumanization. It's the same thing.
They're human beings. They deserve basic human rights, like human rights. That's what we stand for. That's what we should, as a country, stand for.
It's ironic how the people that are causing the genocide are the people that suffered from it.
In this case.
It just,
Yes, in this
I
case,
mean,
yes.
Yeah, in this case, and it's, so I just.
And that's why people have a hard time
It's hard to-
connecting the dots.
Yeah.
Well, there's an internal conflict going on within the Jewish community about this. There's the fear that Holocaust had on them. It's a fear that they always had to have a homeland. And now they feel their homeland is being threatened. And they're doing everything they can to defend it. But I think we're not saying that Israel doesn't have a right to exist.
They do.
But we're saying that Palestine has a
Have the
right
right to exist as well.
also. I have an old atlas, and You know, Palestine was there in the atlas, you know, prior to World War
Two.
II or World War I. It was an old atlas. You know, Palestine was on the map.
Right, and then we decided that was the place you could put Israel.
Right, well, it was
So-
it's a big dispute, you know,
Right.
and it's hard. And I don't mean to disrespect the Jewish religion or the Jewish faith in any way. What I'm saying is, as we have to stand for the rights of all human beings, whether they be Palestinians or Jews.
Yep, and we have to say power to the people, and remember the
To the people,
We're looking to Mike to lead
Mike,
us.
power of the people.
power to the people.
Power to the people.
There you go.
They came up with
Mistakes of the bosses we must pay for. From the cities and the farmlands to trenches full of mud. War's always been the bosses' way, sir. The Union forever defending our rights. Down with the black leg workers unite. With our brothers and our sisters in many far off lands. There is power in a union. Now I long for the morning that they realise brutality and unjust laws cannot defeat us.